advisor. I am not a registered investment advisor. We are an incredible software technology company, and we create idea generation software that helps you spot opportunities in the market. So any of the stocks that I'm going to talk about today, please do not construe those as investment advice. I don't know what kind of account size you have. I don't know what kind of risk tolerance that you have. So I'm just going to be talking about the software and how to spot opportunities. Thank you, Scott. So it looks like we are recording and good to go. So I'm just going to throw this PowerPoint out of the way and get right into the software. Looking at here is Trade Ideas Pro. I actually have a couple of back to here a little bit later. So we're looking at my desktop. My desktop is really a combination of a variety of different windows that I've put together. Some of them, most of them are kind of what a user does when they're using trade ideas. So we have this available both as an application. You're looking at that right here. We also have it available. My browser works. Oh, we'll come back to that. Looks like the browser's dead. And you can launch it right from here. So you launch it, Trade Ideas for the web. It's exactly like the application, operates inside of a browser. Anything that you can do 95% of the way inside of the application you can do in the browser. So that's the channel bar gives me instant access. 17 years, we've got to say on this channel a bunch of different workspaces and layouts. Load up a variety of different moving, gapping up, gapping down on a percentage basis. What I have over here is a multi-strategy window. This right here is an alert window really on steroids. It's got a variety of different event notification strategies in it. So when a stock is making a pre-market high or a pre-market low or doing something on extraordinary volume, then I'm going to be presented with those symbols here. When I see a symbol in a window in Trade Ideas, I can click on it and it's going to bring up the chart. It's going to update my single stock window, and it's going to update any other linked windows that I may have. So you can just peruse, the different symbols that are appearing and scan, the different windows in this regard. So as the market picks up and things start to happen, you may want to look at some other channels that we have. One of the channels that I really like is the stock surging channel. This is a great channel because we do something pretty unique in this particular channel with this window down here at the bottom. This is the most upward momentum right now window, and I've got one that I had saved from, I don't know, like it was after the market closed, but it was running. And what it does is, which is different than the other windows, it gives you this ranked list of stocks that are making new high, but it's ranking it on the count, and the count is how many times has it made that high. And using a window like this, it's a pretty simple window. Stocks making the most new highs. You can spot opportunities like Gene here today. Had an incredible pullback, but boy, did this thing run. I mean, this thing was all over this particular channel, was all over the high volume movers in the morning. Certainly it was on top here most of the day. Once it hit the top, it never looked back. But this thing here, it ran from $2.30 all the way up to $10. And that's really what our software is really special at doing. It's special at finding out of the norm. There's there are around 20,000 active stocks that we're monitoring in real time. Every tick that's going through the exchanges is coming through our system, and we're monitoring that, and we're identifying normalized behavior for all the stocks' different criterias, whether it's how much it moves over 5 minutes, what kind of volume it does during the day, what kind of volume it does over 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, everything. So we break it down really granularly, and when something out of the norm happens, our software just immediately brings it up. So we bring in all this data from the exchanges, and while the market data is going on, we're creating and writing new data points that are special to just trade ideas, things that you don't get from the NYSE or from NASDAQ. An example of that would be like the position in range right here, or the position in year range. Where's that stock in relation to low? That stock doing right when you see a value, your volume panel, and this is the daily chart. That's what 350 times relative volume looks like. If you're looking at a daily or an intraday chart, let me turn it into like 15 minutes. You're looking at normal volume is down here, and as this stock opened up today, it opened up with tremendous volume, and it just continued to increase. And so that's what a stock that happens to be moving with a catalyst behind it, and that catalyst being volume. but the software is really ideal at spotting, those types of events. And when you pull it up here on the single stock window, you can look at some other data points that are pretty unique. Like, for instance, the StockTwits relative activity, and that's we connect to StockTwits and we monitor social activity. So when they're talking about a stock on social media, we can tell, and we know what's normal behavior, how much they're talking about it. And this right here, this is 6,000 or 6.7,000%. So that's a huge increase. So not only did the relative volume of the stock increase, but people that chatter about that in the social networks also increased. So you can drill right into that information, right here through these different channels. And when you find the different windows that you like, for instance, I found this window that I liked. I'll just move it aside, which is this window right here. When I find something I like, I just right click on it and I pin it. I move it over to the side over here while I'm continuing to build my layout. So maybe I'll go to another channel here, and I like the Alpha Predator channel a lot. There's always something happening, even if the market's not, it's a very active market right now, but channel right here and really find opportunities. There's always something happening. So this is a great channel for that. And if you find a window that you like, just like I did over there, maybe you grab it, you pull it out, and you pin it. And ultimately, after you've gone through a variety of these different channels right here, and it's kind of hard to do it, the market's going and lit up, it's really the best time to really see how these windows function and operate. But after you've grabbed the windows that you like, you can go ahead and create a custom channel. And you do that by just going ahead and right clicking on any of the windows that we have here, and you go to Save or Share to Cloud. This Save or Share to Cloud allows you to save a single window, multiple. See, the thing about pinning it allows you to move over and have these windows remain, so allowing you to continue to build that. But once you're ready to do it, just go ahead and unpin them. That way they're not going to remain when you go ahead and cycle channels. And so what I did was I built this one right here. This is one of my favorite channels. This really is it's a compilation of a lot of the different windows on these different channels here, whether it's a multi-strategy window, this derived stream. This is an amazing one because look at all the different alert strategies that are built into this particular window. So I get so much bang for my buck out of that window. Trade candidates, that's on the trade candidate channel. One of Barry's windows on the Barry channel is this Barry watch list repeating. I like that a lot. This wide range daily bar is a top list that I built kind of custom. It's not on a channel, but I like this one because it allows me to really find the stocks that are moving extraordinarily today. Which ones have a very large wide range bar. And if you're watching this during the market, you're watching it build. You're not watching it, right at the peak point. And then we've got these nice abilities to sort these windows. I could sort it by change from the close and really get these monsters to just move. And even this guy right here, full on gap and great stuff. And so range indicator right here, I could filter on that, and I could go into this window and I could say I only want to see stocks that are in the upper half of their range, or I could just use it as a tool here where I'm visually seeing. But I like sorting on it too, because now I can get the stocks that are, not only did they have a really nice wide range bar today on the daily side of it, they're also closing towards the higher end of its range today. And right here, we're giving you this visual indicator, but if you hover over it, it has a little number assigned to it. So 96, 96, come down here, that's 86. And the reason why that's there is, like I said, if I wanted to filter on it, I would come over here to the filters, and let's just go ahead and hide the unused. And the position in range, let's say I'm going to make this 50. Now let's make it even tighter than that. Let's make it 85 and hit OK. So now I'm only going to see stocks. My list got much smaller, and I'm only going to see stocks in that upper 15% of its range today. And so we provide, a lot of different position and ranges, whether it's intraday ranges, over 15 minutes or 5 minutes, or even longer time, like over a 20-day period of time, over a year period of time. It's a great indicator. So I highly recommend familiarizing yourself and using it, not only just from a visual perspective, but sorting on it too, and really finding things that happen to be moving. On this, the volume radar is a great thing. One of the things that Trade Ideas does best, I mean, like I said, we find these abnormal things, but the way we dice up volume is pretty amazing. Looking at cumulative volume, which is our relative volume compared to normal, so 12 times normal volume for this, but also looking at the granular level, what's it doing over a 5-minute period of time, a 30-minute period of time. And bringing you that bit of information, giving you the ability to color code all of this the way that you want. Like this 5-minute percentage, it's custom colored, and you can right click on any of these headers right here, go right into the custom color and see exactly how we did it, or if you want to change the colors, you can do that as well. So it could be a little complicated, but it really does provide for a lot of power in the colorization of it, because it's fully multi-dimensional when you do that. My price alert and single stock, I mean, those are my bread and butter windows here. The single stock, and I got to move my go to meeting. Single stock is so powerful because I've got these 5 different tabs in it that allow me to really drill down into the stock. The detail tab is fully customizable. Any of the filters that we have in Trade Ideas, you can go ahead and add to the screen right here, so you can get an instant snapshot of any of the data points specific to a particular stock. The news, so if there's news that's happening in it, you can get that right here, click on it, drill into your story in a browser, and take a look from that regard if it's something that's interesting or not. The profile, see exactly what sector, subsector, and industry group it may be in, as well as a summary of what that company does. Insiders, if there have been any insiders that have posted any trades and transactions, you'll see those here. And then our newest one, the similar tabs, really powerful because this gives you 2 different approaches to find similar stocks to what we're looking at. Either looking at the particular, or you could go into the price action, and I mean, this thing went up so much today, it probably didn't find a whole lot that was close. But if you find some other stocks that didn't have a whole lot going on, you'd find some price action. The price action tries to look at not only a longer term approach to the stock, but also a shorter term. So it's really trying to find some of the criteria that are similar to the main stock that you're looking at. I prefer the competitors. This is where, I really like to find stocks that I like to trade. Like if I'm looking at, something like silver or something like that, I come here. If I'm looking at something like steel, I'll pull up steel and then look for some of the other competitors for steel right here, and then drill into those particular stocks and see if it's something that I want to participate in. The price alert is probably the most used window that I have inside of Trade Ideas. This allows me to to really instantly set a threshold alert. If I wanted to set a threshold alert on this stock right here that I pulled up, if it's breaking out to a new high, I'll just go ahead and right click, create the alert. If I want to put a note here, I can. I usually don't. Kind of lazy there. So when it crosses above, what I do is it'll give me the alert, and I'll just click on it, and I'll take a look and see if that was something that I want to participate now based on the market, based on how long ago it was that I set that alert. Maybe it's not interesting anymore, but I use this all the time. It really is kind of a bread and butter, and ultimately I use it with the AI, and we have 3 different AI channels right here. A few other things before we get into that, but I really do like to take some of the signals that are generated in the AI, and if it's not anything I want to participate at the moment, I set a threshold alert on that for when it's really ready to break out, and those have been some phenomenal ideas. And I think one of those happened to be like Gene. I didn't get this one today because I was doing some other stuff, but this is where you have an AI signal here, and this happened, when was this? At the beginning of, so June 29th, we had an AI signal here to buy Gene, and it just consolidated for the couple week period leading up to today. But today it just absolutely broke out, and setting a price alert, I didn't do it at the time. I did this after to show you, but had I had a price alert there, I would have known immediately in pre-market, early on, an hour and change before the open, that this thing was breaking out higher than it had been in quite some time, and doing it on volume in so many different ways. But you see it ultimately here in this relative volume area that's so strong. But like I said, it was coming through a lot of different channels as well. But that's how you can use the price alerts to spot some previous AI opportunities. But I'll dig into the AI, and I'll also get to your questions, guys. I haven't even looked at it yet, but I do want to kind of drill through a few more things on the software before I do that. Let's do the odds maker real quick, because I want to touch on the odds maker, the AI, and Brokerage Plus. Those are kind of three of the things I want to do. So the odds maker, it's our ability to use the software to backtest an idea. So you're not backtesting a single symbol, you're backtesting an idea. And that could be something like, well, let me see here. I did have something in the cloud that I created. That was the optimized. So let me do the unoptimized version of it. So erase everything that had those in. Let's just do price of, say, 10, $80. Let's do, say, 300,000 minimum average volume. I want it to be positive, and we'll leave it at that. All right, so this is the alert window. Now I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to select backtest. Every time the stock crosses that 200-day, crosses above it, with those criteria that I had specified, let's go ahead and just use the default here out of the box. We'll hold it for 60 minutes. I'll put a stop loss on it. We'll use a smart stop, and let's just go ahead and simulate the buy. So it's going to run through all these different calculations every time something, would have triggered in this, and it's going back, I think, 2 months, 45 days, 45 trading days. Ended with, after commission and slippage, I ended with 44,000. So that wasn't a good trade, and that was going long. So let's run it again, but this time let's go ahead and let's go short. See how that affects it. Okay, well, it's a little bit better. It's not great, but let's just kind of explain what we're looking at here. So this is a strategy here that generated 1,200 trades over that period of time. A profit factor of 1.2, not very good. That's the sum total of all the winning trades over the sum total of all the losing trades. The average winner to loser ratio, or is 25 cents to 20 cents, not very good. I like better than that. I like around a 2-to-1. And so I have a development tool set up right now, so that's why this is not giving me the accurate information. But you would have the accurate information of what buying power would be required to implement this, and that would be if I was to buy every time a signal generated, and I would allocate $2,500 to that particular trade. However many shares would equate to that, and so that would be that. Now we have this tool in here that allows you to take that strategy, that idea that you've made, and make it better. And an example of that, we're drilling into the data for price. And so we're breaking it down into $10 intervals. So between $10 and $80, breaking it down every $10. How did I do in every one of those segments? So it lets you know, was I profitable? I was profitable. In the segment between 50 and 60, I wasn't profitable, 122 trades. Wasn't profitable in the next one. So maybe if I was using this data, I'd say, okay, maybe it would be better just to stop at $50 as the highest price stock. Maybe, right? But that's the first bit of information that I'm gleaning from it. We do the same thing with time of day, and you can change your intervals here. This is broken down every 30 minutes. Maybe I want to look at every 15 minutes, and you can get that granular. The real power comes in these other filters area. So every filter we have in trade ideas can be analyzed, where you can see, okay, if I was to change the value or add a value on this filter, how would that strategy do? And so before this webinar, I went through this and I added maybe like 5 filters. I just kind of went through, and what I do is I select one and I cycle down, and when I see a big grouping of negative, either at the beginning or the end of one of these data segments, then I'll think and consider filtering it. Also depending upon what the filter is. So I went through this, and I don't remember what I did. I'll pull it up though, and we can see. And if I found something like maybe this right here, and I said, okay, I don't like, even though there were some winners after, There were a lot of losers in this group right here. It shouldn't be any bigger than 40%. And I would make my maximum value of that 20-day range right here at 40%. So when you do that, you can right click right here on the software, right at that 39.99, and I can set the max value right here. It's going to open up the configuration. It's going to pop that value in right here, make sure it's what I want, and then I can hit OK. So I did that for a few different filters using this tool right here. And I came up with, go back, this is a short, quick optimization. And so now let's go ahead and run the back test. It was a short. Hopefully it'll dig through all this data right here. So you can see just based on, you know, the different icons that exist up here. I put a Bollinger Band filter on. I also put some market filters, like what's the Dow doing? What are the Qs doing? So this is the Dow over the day. This is the Qs over 30 minutes. This is the spiders over 15 minutes. So I put a couple filters on, and the net result of that comes a strategy like this right here, where I have a profit factor of 2.72, sum total of winning trades over losing trades. Still a lot of trades, 353. That's a lot more trades than I would like to see. So I would take this and I would continue to optimize it through the optimization tab, but almost a 2-to-1 winner to loser ratio right here. And obviously the equity curve looks a lot better. And that's committing $2,500 to each trade that comes through, you know, with the appropriate commission that you have right there. So I would continue to optimize it, and I would continue to work through all the different other filters and, you know, do that to make a better strategy. But this right here, I'll pull up, this was one of our AI strategies today. This is the Sunrise Mover one from today. And so this is an example of the different strategies that we provide during the AI. So for the different AIs that we present to you, this happens to be one of them that was provided today. So let's just backtest that. And let's let you know that the Sunrise Mover strategy, we don't participate, don't generate any new signals in the first 5 minutes, and we do it, we stop generating new ideas after 45 minutes of the market being open. Hold it for 30 minutes. We're using a smart stop on here. Open a test for 45 days. So this is the Sunrise Mover strategy, and you can see it's kind of similar in nature from the profit factor perspective and the average winner to loser ratio, and this is the resulting equity curve. So that's what you can gain out of using the odds maker, which is a premium product. It's something you need a premium subscription, but you can use that to really enhance your different strategies. In fact, it's what we use. We don't use the interface, but it's the technology that we use for all of the different AI strategies and their optimization after the market every day. So let's do that. Let's drill into the AI, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So I like the Omni AI channel because essentially the Omni AI allows me to consolidate the 3 different AIs into one interface right here. So it doesn't really matter which AI which segment it's generated on. And we have 3 different segments. There's the original Holly Grail, which is the Holly AI. We have Holly 2.0, which is taking the same set of strategies, but running them through a different set of combines, running them through a different set of optimizations, results in a different strategy at the end. And so you may get a Sunrise Mover here, and you may get a Sunrise Mover in Holly AI, but there's a good chance that they're going to be different because they were run through the optimization differently. And then we have Holly Neo, which is a different type of AI because it's using the same 4 strategies every single day. It's just optimizing those same 4 strategies. A little bit more volatile plays, but I like looking at the consolidation of all 3 right through this particular channel right here, and we'll just talk about it. Let's rank it here from an entry time. So at the beginning of the day, looks like 25 minutes after the market opened was the first idea that was generated today, and certainly wasn't easy. This is one of the Well, this initial signal got stopped out pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. You can see it was pretty volatile as we drill into it. And I'll scroll back in time here. We're looking at a 5-minute chart. The idea was generated right here to sell it, but it just continued to run a little bit more and ended up stopping out that initial call. But we do have an algorithm in place here, and it was actually generated on really on every one of the ideas that were stopped out today. But at 7:04, this new idea told you to maybe consider getting back short this stock because it just crossed the algorithmic threshold. It's a somewhere in between the stop price and the original entry price, and it ended up being a nice play. In fact, it's probably a good time to talk about the 3 different profit modes that we have within the stock, or within each one of these different stocks that are called via the AI. We have a conservative profit mode, and that's going to be the shortest held position. You're not going to be holding that position for incredibly long. Each one of these strategies is optimized with a particular time frame in mind, and usually it's 30, 60, 45 minutes. Sometimes it's to the end of the day, but most of the time it's a shorter time frame, and it's optimized to be profitable in that time to hopefully give you the opportunity to decide whether you want to continue holding it. So that's our conservative profit time, the shortest hold time. And then we have our moderate profit mode right here, which is essentially holding it until the end of the day unless you get stopped out. And that's where, if you get stopped out, that's where the re-entries can possibly come in. Now, I don't always recommend taking a re-entry. It really depends on what's happening in the marketplace and what's happening with that particular stock, but it's definitely worth that second look back at it. And then this final mode right here, this aggressive mode, really lets you know whether there's follow through in the ideas that were generated, irrespective of the stop that may be in place right here. So it's saying, don't look at stops, just take the signal and hold it till the end of the day, and we'll see how you do. And there's obviously hybrids between that. Maybe you stop yourself out and you get back in, and that's somewhat of an aggressive play right there. It's not going to be the exact figure, but so this is holding it to the end of the day and not considering any stops. And that's what today really showed. It had some volatility. We gapped up, we filled the gap back down, and then we moved back up towards the top. And that did have some volatility associated with it, but this is telling me that if you would have held your AI positions, then you would have done really, really good today. And we present those 3 profit modes right here in this upper window. If I stretch this out right here, this is really just my strategies window, just stretched out. So these are all the different strategies that could possibly generate a signal today. I don't really care so much about that. I really just care about the different strategy or the different trades that are generated. So that's why I have it small like that. But the aggressive was really the way to go. And if you clicked on moderate, you can see what would the profitability be. And this is all based on what I have set up right here. So I'm assuming, or I'm saying that I'd like to risk $100, up to $100 for every one of these positions. And what that means is it's going to size me. These shares are going to be sized based on the distance to the stop. So every one of these ideas has a stop associated with it. So if it goes past that stop, we're saying get out of that. Don't take any big losers here. But what this is doing is it's sizing you so that if you happen to get stopped out on any of these positions, you're going to lose $100. So look, on these guys that were stopped out on the conservative profit mode, I lost $100, 100, 100, and 100. So that's the way it's supposed to work. And then you can decide whether you want to get back in those or not. If you decided you didn't want to get back in those, then you would just be at that moderate profit level right there. That would be the profit segment that you would be choosing to participate in. So we provide this for a variety of reasons. One, it's a great indication as to how's this market performing? How volatile is it? Are the ideas that are being generated have good follow through? Are they short-term ideas? There are days where the conservative is the big one because it's so volatile, and the idea was only good for a shorter period of time. It was good for the initial concept that was back tested in. So that is the AI. I also want to talk a little bit, plus is our interface that allows you to transact directly from the software. Right now, we're connected to interactive brokers. E-Trade, within the next 4 weeks, we're going to be connected. We also have, and it's not listed on here, but TDA. So connecting to TDA is going to be coming out actually before Alpaca. So really adding some connections to this very, very shortly. So that's exciting. But with Brokerage Plus, like this was just a simulation today, and this gives you an idea of exactly how your portfolio did from the inception of the day. You know, up 200, went down 200, and finished up around 250 before it's kind of right back here after hours in the 200 area. So that visual P&L really does give you some assistance as to, you know, is this really working or is it not? You know, I didn't just go from down 200 to up 200. I actually got to watch exactly what was happening. And, you know, your P&L oftentimes works very much like a stock. It's a trending type of endeavor. Now, when you just have one position, it's going to be just like that stock. But if you have a portfolio, then, you know, you're going to be able to see whether you're trending or whether you're not trending. Gives you so much good information right here. You know, what's my exposure in each one of these positions? If I want to put in a stop, I can add a stop right from this interface, and I can put that price in. Let me put the price in here. Let's say a stop of 10. Oh, before I do that, let me pull it up on the chart, and I'm gonna put it right here about $8 because I want to see it and show you what I can do with it here. So I'm going to add a stop. We're going to put it at $8. And now once it's there, you can see what's my profitable, you know, what will I have locked in? You know, I put this position on at 746. You know, if I was to close it out at $8 here getting stopped, I'm going to make $542 on that position. If I want to move that around, I can do that. And, you know, that's where I'm actually changing the stop price as well as looking at the different lock-in value that I have. So many different benefits that you have. If I wanted to, you know, quickly get out of, you know, FCell and JetBlue, I could just highlight both of those right there and hit the flatten button. It'll send a market order and liquidate those positions. If I wanted to buy, you know, $5,000 worth of JetBlue, I can set it up as dollars or shares if I want to do, you know, say 500 shares. Set my price, and you can use your scroll wheel to rapidly get to that price that you want. It's just a really nice interface to use. You can also, like from inside of Holly or any of the other windows that we have, you can right click, go right to trade, and you're presented with some options right here. These options are all configurable. I set these up myself for my trading, but you can do it yourself, and you do it right here from the strategies tab. So these are the right-click menu options that you see. You know, if I wanted to change this to something different, I can just right-click, edit it, change whatever the heading is, and then go through the tabs to change the order parameters. I could take the buttons that I have. So whatever I have inside, let me go back. Ooh, I think I closed it. New Brokerage Plus. Let me connect again real quick. So on the strategies tab, I've got two ons. I've got a default long on, and I've got a default short. Essentially, this is applying this particular order to my buy and sell button on the chart. So on the buy, I've got 5,000 at market, stop at low. It's not going to work right now because the market, but I can bring this in, and I could set this up and drag it right to the chart and have my buy, and if I want to move my stop, I can do that accordingly. But so you can take these, and during the market is really when you should be using these, but you can just drag your price, and so we can do a stop limit, you know, above, or put your stop order down below the price of the stock. All right, so I see there are a bunch of questions, and I'm going to pause here for a second. I'm going to kind of see if I can knock any of these questions off real quick. Thank you, Barry, for helping out on some of those. So for wide range, for daily wide range, do this right here. So William, just go to new, go to top list window, because I think a list would be better. You could certainly make an alert, but go to list, go to ranges, and we've got this daily wide range bar. Go ahead and select that. That's kind of the base of what you want, but then you may want to add some data points to it. You know, we've got, look, any filter that we have can be added as a column. but I've got a few over here that I use. So let's do like position and range. Let's do relative volume, kind of my bread and butter go-to guys. I've got today's range percentage. That's the one right there. If I go to sort, you can see that what I'm doing is I'm going to our database at the data center, and I'm grabbing the stocks with the highest range percentage today. And that's one of the data points that is special to Trade Ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and now I've got my window. Let's make it a little bigger and see if it's everything that I want. So today's range dollar, today's range percent. This is the big guy right here. So let me do this. Let's create a color scheme on this, and let's go between. Let's make this 1,000, and let's go ahead and add that. So now I've got this range of colors. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to hit OK. So now I've got this gradient set of colors here for today's range. So you can see exactly, which guys had the biggest one. So I hope that helps you a little bit there. So John, there's no way at this point to get a printout. I'm assuming you want your printout of your results from Brokerage Plus, but that is coming. We have a calendar view coming, and from that calendar view, you're going to be able to export data as well as, I don't know if you'll be able to print it, but you'll certainly be able to export that data from there. So Nate's asking about the wiggle. It's been so long since I talked about it. The wiggle is a filter value that we have. The wiggle it's an algorithm that takes a look at the stock's relative volume, its range for the day, the distance between its high and its low, and compares that to normal. So range percentage for the day, and also it's the stock's volatility to determine a value there. And that value is oftentimes used really for a stop. Like, for instance, when you have a certain value for a stop and the stock is trading, 10 times its normal volume, that original value is probably not going to be big enough to accommodate the volatility of the stock. So that allows that stock to get a little bit bigger. And if I'm reading somewhere you're saying it's not working in one capacity or another, please send us an email, info@trade-ideas, or you can send it to me, brad@trade-ideas.com, and we'll figure it out, or we'll fix it or show you how to use it properly. So Parker, when setting the stop amount 100 using Brokerage Plus, there are 4 settings for the amount. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Are you talking about the odds maker? Brokerage Plus. So let's go into it here. Let's go into edit trading strategy. Okay, well, maybe you can explain. I'm going to try to dig through a few more, but if you've got better explanation, I can try to dig into it. Can I explain the default account between Brokerage Plus and IB? Well, in IB, this allows you to connect to your live trading account at Interactive Brokers. You can use both. You can use the you can use their platform, and you can use Brokerage Plus simultaneously. So Interactive Brokers, I don't believe they require 25,000 to open up an account. Just if you want to, I think you need 30,000 if you want to do the pattern day trading. That means if you're going to be in and out of your positions within the same day. So Stephen, that's a great question. Stephen's asking about using the count for the full alert window strategy and not just for the particular alert. And unfortunately, we cannot do that. That's been asked for years and years and years. So it's a great question. It would really provide value, but it's just a little bit more complex. Yeah. All right, Parker, right-click on the Brokerage Plus window. Edit trading. On the Holly tab. Okay, so that's good. I mean, this is a good question because I didn't talk about it, and with the premium subscription, you can automate Holly, and you do that through this tab right here. So I'll get you in a second, Parker. But with respect to automating it, you have the ability to set up your long trading instructions, set up your short trading instructions. If you want to participate in re-entries, you can set up those instructions as well. You turn on your re-entries right here. You can decide exactly what strategies you want to participate in. You know, maybe you only want to do a couple of them. You can do that. All right, so let's see here. What's your question? Yeah, so the position sizing. So let's edit the strategy here and on position sizing. So you've got these three different position sizing here. One allows you to trade using fixed dollars, right? So if I want to participate using $5,000 for every trade, I'll do that. If I want to do 100 shares, I can do that. Or like I was showing you earlier with respect to the AI, you can do it based upon your stop loss. So I only want to risk $100 in that particular scenario. So Jonathan, you can't connect E-Trade yet because that's not available. That's still in development. And I do have a couple of videos that are available. If you go to our YouTube channel, just Google YouTube Trade Ideas. And with respect to Brokerage Plus, I've got some videos very specific to connecting, setting it up, and operating it. Short re-enter. Edit short re-enter trading instructions. Gotcha. Okay. Yes, Parker, thank you. Okay, so he's telling me that the 30 value isn't consistent with the 100 in the long, you know, so if I was to enter the long trading instruction, well, it shows 30. I mean, I think it's dependent upon your setup, and if yours are different, you can go ahead and change it and just go to save as default, and it'll save that for you. Okay, I'll take a look at it. I'll have development take a look at it. I appreciate that. No, there's not a recommendation. That's one of the things. I don't know your account size. I don't know, you know, how much you have to risk and how important that money is to you. So that's why, you know, that's where investment advisors come in and they say, you know, this is the type of risk tolerance you should have. I don't know that. I just know stocks and trading, and I know myself. That's all I know. So I'm just kind of showing you how to use the software, and just please take it for that. So I did want to show one more thing here, and I do have a few more minutes. It's really the custom formulas, because I had a really interesting question today, and I thought it'd be interesting to kind of show you guys. So before I do that, let me just bring up a window here. Let's go to new, do a top list because it allows me to show the data really quickly. And I'm going to search for dollar volume. And let's show that column and hit OK. Okay, so dollar volume. This is taking the stock's last price times the volume or the average volume of the stock. Well, this data point that we provide you right here is taking a look at the stock's price, and we're multiplying it by the 10-day average volume. So on a scenario where the stock is really breaking out today, that's not going to really reflect that information. It may not be helpful to you, but we do give you the ability to customize some data points, really manipulate mathematically any of the data that we have in the software. So what we want to do here is I want to create, using our custom formula editor, a new filter, one that will allow me to see data, one that will allow me to filter it if I want. But the data that I want to see is a real-time dollar volume. So, looking at the stock's current price, but instead of looking at the average volume, I want to look at the stock's total volume for the day. So let's well, let me start from scratch here. Let's go to our home page, and you go to account. So go to account. I'm logged into the same account here that I am in Trade Ideas Pro. So from here, I'm going to want to go to custom formulas. And so now this is my custom formula editor. Don't get, you guys won't have anything here in this upper grid. And you select a particular, I don't even know what to call it, particular U number for your filter. So we have a couple pieces of documentation. You don't need to, they're really, really simple. I usually just open them up in new tabs. This guy right here, my help is a 10-page doc. You can just kind of scroll through it, and it gives you a list of variables that we have. But like I said, every single filter that we have in the software is a variable too, and we tell you what the code is for that variable. So to do a real-time dollar volume, it's really just the price times the total volume. So it's that code right there times that code right there, and you do it over here in the formula editor. I'll do it right here. So I'll create a new one, and it's really just total volume times price. So it's all case sensitive, and you have to use the right brackets here, but that right there is the code, and that's going to be my real-time dollar volume. Actually, units, I don't know whether it's dollars or shares, but it's dollar shares. And let's just call it we'll call it an integer, and we'll save it. So that's my new filter, real-time dollar volume. So now I'll come back over here, and I'm going to right-click here. I'm going to go into configure. I'm going to go into search, and I'm going to type real-time. There it is, real-time dollar volume. I could have also gone RDV, real-time dollar volume. And I'm going to show the column and hit OK. And so there's the real-time dollar volume. So you can see instead of 4,700,000, the real-time dollar volume was 2.3 billion. So that's how you can create a new filter. I mean, you may not even care about dollar volume, but it kind of highlights how you can, use the software to create any number of new filters and ideas. And just to go back real quick, as you go through mine, this is like, we've got a couple accounts, so each one of them is really filled up with different filters looking at different things. So, the software is really endless in that regard. So as far as being alerted on your phone, we have some new functionality that we hope to be coming out with in the third quarter. It might flow into the fourth quarter. There is some functionality that exists right now, but I don't like it, so I'm not even going to talk about it. It's a little kludgy, so we are working on that, and it will get better. Guys, if I didn't get to your questions, please feel free to shoot us an email or attend our midday session where we go through very much the same thing, only we do it for an hour and really talk about your questions and go through it. So if I didn't get to it, please do that. And I think, let me make sure I still have my PowerPoint open. And let's just knock off a couple of these slides right here. Please join us in our trading room. That's an option if you go to our website. At the very, very top menu option, there's an option for trading room. It's a free trading room. You can get to it through our site, or you can get to it through our YouTube page. It's broadcast every day. Barry hosts that, and he does it during the trading hours. Very, very informative, very useful. It's good whether you're just starting out or really want to start taking advantage of some of the ideas that are shared in the room. Yeah, and these support sessions that I talked about earlier, these are also really super valuable. So I definitely recommend participating and joining us in those. We charge software as a service here. This is broken down by the day. It's a monthly subscription or an annual subscription. It's not a daily subscription. We do offer a discount right here. It's 15% off your first month or first year, whatever you decide to use here. Just Holly July, that's going to be your promo code. I believe it has to be all caps. Our podcast, every Friday we put out a podcast. It's either Sean or Dan. One of the two guys is usually talking with someone interesting, whether it's someone from our team or someone from the space. So it's a very informative and a much more casual environment. We also put out an ebook. You can get to it. We do a couple different ebooks depending on what time of year it is, but you can get to it from trade-ideas.com/earnings. And we're very reachable. The best way to reach us is really our email address, which is info@trade-ideas.com. You can reach me at brad@trade-ideas.com, but we are on social media. We are on the Twitter at Trade Ideas, at QuantBot, at Today Trader. We're also on the Facebook. And I don't know if anybody will answer that number, but we do have a phone number. Small team here. We've been doing this for a while. We love what we do. It's our goal just to continue to make the software even better and more powerful. So guys, I really appreciate you spending the time with me. Our hour's up. Like I said, if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. It was only me today. Normally we've got another person in addition to Barry, but more people that are talking, and makes it a little bit easier to get to all the questions. So if I didn't, I apologize. Shoot me an email and I will get to it. Hope you guys have a great day.